Titus, who's going to tell us why he joined the Antique Outboard Motor Club, and I do believe he's the oldest member in our club, the Pine Tree Boating Club. Yes, Bill?
Okay, so I'll just stand here and not say anything. Anyway, so I started Antique Outboard Motor Club in 1970 or 71, somewhere around there. And my interest in old outboards started when I was very young. My grandfather gave me like a 1947 Scott Atwater 7.5, and he just gave it to me, and we'd do family outings. We'd go on a Sunday and go to some place and rent a rowboat and put the Scott on it, and he showed me how to operate it, and it was the most enjoyable time for me. So that was kind of the beginning of my interest in old outboards. That Scott would have been only a few years old, I think, when he gave it to me. So, well, anyway.
So the Bail-O-Matic still worked?
No, it was before that. It was a 47.
Okay. 47? Had full gear shift, though?
No, I don't think.
7.5?
No, not in 47.
Yeah, that's when they came out with it.
No, 49.
No, 49?
So anyway,
okay.
it was,
right.
I probably had it for a few years, and he decided I needed something different. But anyway, going back to, so I had an interest in old outboards and old engines and everything in general since I was a little kid. And I found the club through Bob Zips. I went to the Hartford Boat Show, I think in 1970, and met Bob Zips. And he had a Johnson VR50 on display. And we had a nice chat. And I told him I had an interest in old outboards, but in pre-internet days and all that, there was very little connection to how do you get information on old outboards and things. So he said, well, why don't you come over to my house one of these evenings? And he invited me over, and we went, and I saw his phenomenal collection. And for me, to see all these wonderful outboards that I had no idea existed, makes that I had never heard of. Again, pre-internet days, it's hard to find any information on obscure subjects. And so he showed me all these things, and I got really interested immediately of all that. And Bob said, you should join if you have an interest in this thing. And also, we have a meet coming up real soon, and you should come to that meet. And it was a meet on a lake in maybe Silver Lake in Connecticut, maybe Manchester, Connecticut, or somewhere just east of Hartford anyway. And I saw, and a lot of the guys, of course, in that time, 70 or 71, there were a few very dedicated enthusiasts that would drive a long distance to go to a meet because there weren't very many. And and I saw outboards on display and operating on boats that I couldn't believe. And the one that I still remember today, and the late Tom Luce brought a Faro rowboat motor, and it was immaculate. And he brought it to the meet and ran it, and it was just like, what? And so it was just, that was just really the beginning of just being really interested in this stuff. And then, I became a member, and I started getting antique outboarder magazines and seeing all the stuff that was going on. And from that time on, I would, go to as many meets as I could just to see, different old outboards and some very early ones. And people brought things to meets for sale. They had extra stuff, and so it became, possible, to go to a meet and come home with an old outboard to play with. And as a young person, again in pre-internet days, and in that time, to go to a meet and see an outboard for sale for $10 or $20 back then, it was a great thrill. And the thrill also to bring it home and look at it and say, I think I could get this thing running. and do the mechanical work, and sometimes a little help for a phone call to a member if there was a question about something. And before long, the thing would be running on a boat, and just the gratification, the thrill of that, you know, having to buy something that was cast aside and be able to work on it a little bit and then put it on a boat and see it actually function again and function well was really a great experience for a young person to be able to do. So that just started the whole thing, and now here we are in 2020, and I'm still doing it. So since 1970. So I guess it's been good for me.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you.